Hey, how's it going? So I'm gonna make this video for my folks that are runners. I was requested to do a 45-minute class for after runner yoga. But first, I kind of want to go through the anatomy of what a runner does when they ever work out or when they run a long distance or short distance or sprinting. From my research is the three things that runners need is energy, oxygen, and water, right? So all these three elements help a runner run longer or sprint faster if it's a shorter distance. Energy comes from the food that we consumed before a run. Oxygen helps fuel the body by what we consume through energy. And then water is to hydrate and keep us flowing and moving for longer distance or even shorter distance run, right? So runners actually do burn a lot of energy, whether if you're jogging slow or fast. It's just depending on what muscle that you're going to use. So for this is a long distance runner, and maybe I need to do another video for a short distance runner or for a sprinter. We're working on stamina, and the muscles you've been engaging for, if you've been running for 30 minutes or more, believe it or not, it's your lungs. Your lungs have been expanding, not more muscle organ, right? It's expanding, contracting for the last how long of a breath. And that's one. And your core is number two. So I guess your muscles will be your core muscles. Your core muscles keep you up straight, and it helps lighten up the load when you pick up your quads. So your quads are number three, glutes, calves, believe it or not. Your ankles are also bones of your muscles of your foot. And last and finally is your back, upper back, chest. We need to open our chest so we can keep our lungs expanding and contracting. So whenever I teach after running class, it's more of a yin class to reset, and then a little bit of a stretch at the end, or half yin, half stretch. And when it comes to yin pose, I want to distinguish what is yin. People are like, well, what is yin yoga? Yin yoga is different from a regular yang yoga or vinyasa yoga or even a stretchy yoga. It's more bone related versus muscle related. So if I say stretch, I guess you can say that's a yin, but it's mostly through your bone that we're getting a deeper disconnection. And I'll say yin can be a little bit uncomfortable. I call it tickle on your pickle. So you might feel a little bit of tickling. And when you do that, that's normal. So a little tickle is all good. A little not so tickle, that means you're stretching your muscles. So when you do yin, your muscles are relaxed. They're not stretching. They're not shortening. So perfect yin pose can be when I'm laying on my back, my arms are up and over, and I'm just relaxing. Or when I'm doing a lunge, I'm rounding my back so that my bones can stretch out, can unstretch, open up. So this runner's yin class that I'm recording for a special student, if you guys ever want to do it, it's good for runners. For sure, use it. You will need 2 blocks, and if you have a blanket, and also a strap. A strap can help us reset our muscles and our bones later for your stretch. So 45 minutes, first part yin, second part, we get some muscle stretching. Cool. All right, so I'm going to break down how we're going to do the yin pose. We're going to start from top to bottom. That means we're going to work from shoulder, back, all the way down to your hip and your ankle. All right, so first pose we're going to get into is low runner's lunge. Grab your blocks. Start with your right foot forward. So here, I'm not asking you to lunge so much. Instead, go for a 90-degree lunge. Another option is grab your block, sit on a block. I actually like to do this after a run. And just bring your chest down towards the floor. Or 90-degree legs, lunge. Bring your forearms down into the blocks. So as a yin teacher, there's not really a lot of cue because the alignment is minimal. But what I do encourage is your deep, slower, longer breath. It's like you're running, but this is more of a conscious breathing. Let go of your head and neck and just let your shoulders of your back start opening up. Your scapular bone. The goal here is moving less. So if you find yourself wiggling, shaking, let it all go and just relax. Let the biggest force, gravity, work into relaxing your low back. You've been using your low back when you run. You've been using your middle back and also your upper back. You will notice with a 90-degree legs, you actually feel a little bit of, I call it tickle, like I said earlier, tickle and pickle around your hip socket. Acknowledge that feeling. Know that it's just a reminder that you're opening up through your hip socket rather than stretching out more. We're going to stretch out your IT band, your hamstrings. Let your belly hang out. There's no muscle disengagement. You're not stretching muscle. You are getting into your deep, deep connective tissue that connects your joints to your muscle. It's a fascia, right? Connective tissue, ligaments, tendons. And slowly as you can, come back up. Switch to your left side. Right knee down, left foot over. You can even place a block under your left hip and just bring your chest onto your thigh to fold. I'll do this on this side so you can see another version of a back opener. Yeah? Bring your sternum closer down towards your thigh. You're disconnecting your low back from your mid, from your upper. So we're starting with the back of your shoulder. Why? You use your shoulders a lot when you run. You need that stride of your arms to pick up your pace so that your legs don't do all the work. Your core connects, right? So the reason why we're doing this, because your core is engaging and you need to move a little faster. Because if you're not, you're using a lot of leg work, you're just not going to run that fast. So arms are part of running. This opens up the back of your arms, the back of your shoulder blades. When I say shoulder blades, meaning the bone versus the muscle. Yep. But Zeb, don't I hunch when I get tired when I run? Yes, you do. That's why we're going to finish our yin part with some back bending that's supported. This is for the first, I don't know if you've been running for 45 minutes as well. The first 15 minutes, your back is straight. This is for that part. Chin to your sternum more. Slowly as you can, release. Good. Baddha Konasana on your glutes. Soles of the feet together. You can grab 2 blocks. This is more for your spine, and now we're getting into your QL. Yeah, part of your QL. Any formation of the block, rest your head down. I really like this position better. Or, there you go. As long as you're not stretching your muscles, we're going to get the stretch later. This is more for your spine. When I mean spine, your vertebrae bones. Here's a little trick. If you have tight hips, you walk your feet forward. If you have open hips, you walk your feet closer in. So if you're doing this the right way, it's just really no right or wrong, but if you're getting it right, you should feel some tension, and I mean it, tension around your butt. That's a little normal tension. If it's pain, if it's causing you not to breathe, you back off a little bit. That's why you get maybe another blanket or another block. So lay as you can, lift up, good. You should also feel in the back of your shoulders. So it's normal that you're hunching right now. That's the point of it. Great. From here, deer light. Deer light is a modified pigeon. I'll do it in an angle so you can see. 90-degree with your legs, 90-degree with your left side. Place a block. We're going to go folding forward. Yeah, let your back hunch. Or no block. You should actually feel your right hip socket. Like, ooh, it feels, like your jaw grip, that's okay. Let it grip and just relax your jaw. That's your hip ball socket to slowly releasing because it's been moving, right? It's been either lubricating too much when we run or it's not lubricating enough. Slowly as you can release. Good. Switch out to your other leg. Deer light, left side. Bring your left hip down, left knee in line with your left hip, left ankle, 90-degree legs with your right side, folding forward. So this forward fold is meant for your low back, your sacrum joint area. But since we have this modified deer light or modified pigeon, you're now starting to get your left hip to sort of separate just a little bit. Yep. The reason you need a balance of forward fold and back bends in the runner, when we run, we pound a lot in our low back. And then we start to hunch too. I don't know if y'all notice when you get tired, my shoulders are hunching forward and then my back's taking the weight. So we need to counter that. The reason I'm just starting from folding to a back bend, it's probably easier when we get into your back bend so that your back isn't crunching. Yeah. So your back's so opened up. So no engagement of your muscle. This is all bone, joint, ligament, feeling. That's why in yin, you stretch, engage, you feel sore the next day. I mean, in vinyasa, yin is a bit different. You do feel tension at the moment. So notice the difference between yin and vinyasa classes. Feeling something right now from yin, vinyasa, I don't feel it till the next day because that's more of a muscular, yeah? Really slowly come back up. Good job. Bring your legs forward. Give it a little bit of a shake, shake, shake. All right, getting into a combination of a stretch now, muscle stretch, and so of a back bend without stretching your chest muscle. We're using your back muscles to open up your chest. Heart bench. You grab the highest setting of the block. If you don't have blocks, books are a good option. I do this line instead of straight like a T, perpendicular to my higher block. All right? Bring shoulder blades towards your block of the middle, top of the head. Now we get still a hip opener now, soles of the feet together. You can bring your hands to the insides of your thighs. Heart bench with Baddha Konasana. So this right now is countering all the hunching that you do when you're starting to run for about 25 minutes. If you're doing a 45-minute run, you're starting to feel getting tired. So now your chest is contracting. This is to just uncounter that. But notice I'm not engaging my muscles of my back. I'm letting the blocks do the work by pressing into my shoulder blade bones and into my back. If you need support, grab a towel, place it on top of your block. Let your shoulders hang down and let gravity now open up all this front part, your intercostal ribs, yeah, your pectoral muscles, but we're not squeezing your back muscles to do that. So when we do a back bend later, I'm going to tell you all to either press shoulder blades into your chest by using your subscapular muscles. So if I don't know anything about anatomy, don't worry. Knowing yin, bone, vinyasa, or stretch, muscle. Arm position number 2. Arms out like a letter T and then palms up. Oh, there goes my shoulder head. Rotator cuff. Yep. Keeping your arms relaxed. There's no squeezing of your arms. You should feel your collarbones now right here. Feeling like they're being pulled apart. That's a little normal thing. Pain sets in. What do I say? Move your arms closer in towards your side body. But arms are like a letter T for the fuller expression. Now last arm over your head, but relax, don't engage, don't straighten out your arms. Just relax your arms over your head. I apologize for my dog barking. You should feel now the block pressing into your shoulder bone, shoulder blade bone. Good, that means you're opening up. Your shoulder blade is pressing onto your chest. That's how your chest is opening up in a deeper way. Then when we get into the back bend, it's a little bit deeper. So you notice yin is the deepest layer, your vinyasa is the second, third layer. So whenever you do yoga, as much as I like power flow, vinyasa, hatha, I don't know, rocket, ashtanga, get into a little yin just to help out with your bone connective tissue relationship. It's a little unpleasant, I'm not gonna lie, so I'm gonna breathe into the unpleasantness because I feel it in my shoulder cuff. Yeah. Oh. But if you're relaxed, you feel a good sensation right now. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Don't just jerk your arm closer towards your chest. Good. Bring your arms by your side. Bring your hands to the outsides of your legs. Oh, bring your legs together. Bring your elbows down towards the mat. Press yourself up. Good. Next one is low bridge. You get a block. You can place a towel under your block. Find your sacrum bone. You're going to move the other block out of the way. I'm done with this, Zed. All right? So it's not, I'm hitting my low back. Has to be my sacrum. A little bit closer towards your glute. Low bridge. It's normal for your toes to point out. I'll give you 3 hand position. On your side, letter T, or arms up. Slowly bring your arms by your side. Bring your feet down towards the mat, coming into waterfall pose. Lift your legs up. Now we're getting into the stretchy part, right? So here's the thing with lifting your legs up in a waterfall. Some of you want to straighten your legs, but then notice how your tailbone's going off of the block. Lower your tailbone down and just squeeze your quads slowly to straighten out your legs. So we're done with the bone. We're going for the stretch. I have tight hamstrings because I've been a runner since I was 16, 17, right? So my quads are very strong. My hamstrings are very, very strong, but they're not flexible. Flexibility means your muscles can go long and short, right? And I see folks that are over flexible. They go super, super long, but they can't shorten it. So that's why yoga for me is not how flexible you are, how strong you are. It's a combination of both. I thought there was an ant that went into my ear or something. Excuse me. Good. Slowly lower your feet down. Press your feet, lift your hips up by squeezing your glutes light, move your block out to the side, good. Straighten out your legs. Full body stretch and let your back blow back around a little bit, point your toes towards the back. Now flex your toes towards your face, come on up slow. Fold very gently. Now in this forward fold, instead of rounding, can you now straighten? Now we're getting a stretch. This is a stretch now for your front muscle. Good. And then roll your shoulders back. Release. Shake out your legs. Grab a strap. We're gonna use a strap now to get into your hammies. If you don't have a strap, towels are also good little alternatives. Getting into your outer, middle, and inner hamstrings and your inner thigh. You've got small muscles in your inner thigh. Bend your left knee. I like this with a block under my left foot. Yeah. Hook your right foot over your strap. Now don't use force. Just use the right quad muscle to stretch out your hamstring. Notice I'm not lifting my shoulders up. I'm letting my quad stretch out my hammies, and then we're going to get your quad to stretch at the end. So here comes your inner hamstring. Right hand on your strap, left thumb on your hip crease. Without lifting your left hip, bring your right leg out to the right. Your heel is lining up with your right hip, yeah? Notice if you're twisting to the right, avoid twisting. Press your left hip down towards the floor, so you're stretching your inner hamstring, and all of your inner thigh muscles right here. Flex your toes towards your nose. Slowly come back to center, good. Now straighten out your left leg, move the block out of the way. Grab your strap with your left hand. Keep your right thumb on your hip crease. We're not twisting. Just draw your right leg out to the right. Keep your right hip down. So we're stretching your IT band. So IT band is a connective tissue that's thin. They call it a band because it's like a rubber band. It stretches and it tightens. That's why runners need this so that your legs aren't splaying out all over the place, right? So we overuse our IT band when we run. So it's either over shortening or over lengthening. Most of the time we're shortening our IT bands when we run to move one foot forward to the other. So this is a good stretch for your IT band, plus your glutes right now of your medium and small are stretching out as well. Press your right shoulder down on the mat. You can bend your right knee as much as you can, as long as you're keeping your right hip down towards the floor. Oh, that feels so good right here in my glute. Slowly release, come back to center, switch. Left foot. You might need to sit up and place a block underneath your right foot. Shoulders down, less effort in your arms. Squeeze your quad to straighten out. It's like bicep, tricep, right? Squeeze my bicep, my tricep stretches. Squeeze your quad. I know, but it's already been squeezing stuff. That's why we get a quad stretch at the end. Left hand on the strap, move your leg out to the left, right thumb on your hip crease. Both shoulders down. Notice if your right shoulder is starting to go up. Instead of moving your foot away from your left shoulder, can you bring your thigh closer to your left shoulder? Yeah. Press your right hip down, right glute down, inner thigh, inner hamstring. Oh, that feels so good. Slowly come back to center. Grab your strap with your right. Straighten out your right leg. Press your left thumb to your left hip crease. IT band stretch. It's normal for your left knee to bend. Roll your left hip bone down. You can even look to your left shoulder. Release, let it go. So that's IT bend glute, inner thigh, inner hamstring. Full body stretch, straight legged sit up, forward fold with a straight back. Good, now we're gonna get into your middle and outer hamstring. Grab your 2 blocks, come into your half split. Half split is a good hamstring stretch. Now to get into your outer hamstring, we'll do your middle hamstring first. So this normal position with hands on blocks, you can do medium or high. But here's the thing that you're not gonna get your hamstrings to stretch. If you start rounding your back, your hips are locked out. I can't stretch my hamstrings. I'm gonna take the block out. But what if you bend your knee a little bit, straighten out your back. And the way you straighten your knee is move your hips. Oh, there we go. Middle hamstring stretch, yeah? Versus you lean forward with a round spine, you're not really moving your hips. Keep your back straight, maybe not lean yet, and then draw your hip back. Oh, flex your toes to your nose so you get a calf stretch. And I'll show you another calf stretch at the end as well. Good, now to get the outer hamstring, baby twist to the right, keeping your hips squared. Same thing, lengthen out. Twist is good to clean out. So you're loaded with lactic acid after running. So you don't get cramps or you don't retain your lactic acid. Twist is the one way to let the extra chemicals out of your body, extra toxins out, no chemicals, toxins out. You're getting your outer hamstring right now. Oh my gosh, that feels so good. Really slowly come back. Now we're getting into your lunge with a block underneath your right foot. Yeah, so place a block underneath your right foot, lowest setting, both forearms on your legs to stretch out your hip flexor. Keeping your back straight. So we're done with the yin part, we're done with the rounding, keeping your back straight. Another trick to stretch out your hip flexor, you squeeze your left glute and then draw your belly button to your, oh, there you go. Bicep, tricep, squeeze your glute, your front hip flexor is gonna stretch out. Slowly come into a 90-degree lunge, keeping the block on top of your foot. Why? So it's a neutral hip. You get a neutral hip, bring your front hip to your low ribs, interlace fingers on your head and neck. Get a back bend now. Press shoulder blades into your chest without squeezing your shoulder blades. So instead of squeezing your back, just press your, you know when you flip a pancake? That's it. You slide a spatula under your chest, under your shoulder blades. Now you lift your spatula or your shoulder blades up using the spatula. Same thing, my hands are under your shoulder blades. I'm lifting you up. And then the next one, we're gonna do a cheat sheet version. Up. Slowly release, let it go. Switch out to your other side, bring your right knee down. Excuse me, let's do a quad stretch. Let's do it after the hamstring stretch, right? Left leg straight, middle hamstring, keeping your back straight, fingertip your block or hands down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, roll your hips back. You can walk your blocks forward, flip your toes towards your nose, keeping your back straight. Oh, that's it. You draw your toes to your nose so that your calves can get a stretch. Y'all know your hamstrings, lower hamstrings are connected to your upper calf. So, Zeb, why are my hammies tight? And I see this sometimes with runners. They can't fully extend their legs because their calves are tight, right? So when I see them stride, they sort of have this knee bending when they run instead of leg straight, like you're almost doing a split. That's it. I noticed I rounded. I didn't feel that. I kept my back straight. There you go. Twist to your left side. Your hips are squared. Avoid rolling your right hip forward. Getting your outside hamstring. Oof. I can just hang here forever. Slowly come back to center. Good job. Come into a 90-degree or lunge first for your hip flexor. I'll take the block out so you can see. You can squeeze your right glute and then tilt your front hip towards your ribcage. It's okay if you don't lunge too low. So you stretch your hip flexor. Hip flexor connects from your back. It rolls you to your pubic bone, your iliac. Iliac, that's what they call it. Ilium and your hip flexor. There's two muscles that connects all the way here. Keep squeezing your right glute. Slowly as you can, come into a 90-degree lunge. You can do that lunge without a block. I took it out because I feel like I wanted a more stretch into my right hip flexor because that's tightest. But you can for sure take the block underneath your foot when you do your lunge. For me, this is, how can I say it? This is more my open hip flexor. So I didn't want to do the foot on top of the block. If you want to literally go deeper, place a block under your foot so you can lunge a little bit lower. Yeah, that little extra height is going to do it. I should have offered it on the right, but this is my tight hip flexor or my open hip flexor, so I didn't do the block. All right, next is keeping your block back bend. So we're going to do the cheat code. Instead of interlace, grab your mid ribs. Press your thumbs into your back ribs of your middle ribs and then lift your shoulders up. And then down. Notice I'm not squeezing my shoulder blades. You press your thumbs gently. This is how you get your back bend. This is how you open up after doing this. You're running for your life, right? Especially if you run a marathon. It's not the finish line. The last finish line, your adrenaline kicks in, but it's that last 3 miles to get into the finish line. That's when your chest collapses in. Squeeze your glutes a little bit. Release. Let it go. Good. Now we're getting to a quad stretch. Here's the thing with quad stretch. I'll give you two options. One, you sit on your heels and then you walk your hands back with a block. Yeah. Now you can stay here or drop your elbows down to the block. You're actually getting a back bend and a quad, but keep your knees down. Relax your head and neck. It's a modified hero. You can place a blanket under your knees. So you're getting a back bend and a quad. Oh man, it feels so good for my quad. You should hold this a little bit longer. I'm just looking at the time, make sure I'm not gonna go over. Got it. Slowly as you can, come on up. You can do that a little bit longer if you need to. Another is, we'll do both, yeah? So the second quad stretch I want you guys to get is heel to butt with a back bend. So come into your lunge. Pad your knee if you need more help. You bend your left knee. I'm gonna grab my blanket, excuse me. I should have been more prepared. I keep forgetting that my mat's super thin. Yeah, there you go. More support, but not too thick that you're floating over your mat. Since we've done some back bends already, you grab your foot with both hands, wiggle your right foot to the right. So you got the balance, and then bring your heel towards your butt as you puff up your chest forward. Notice how my shoulders are still in line with my collarbones. I'm not squeezing my back. I just squeeze my back and squeeze it. Bring your chest forward. That's pressing your pancake forward. I'm not lunging low because I want my quad. Because if I lunge low, that's my hip flexor now. Slowly release. Switch out to your other knee. 90-degree lunge. Bend your right knee. Both hands, or it could just be one hand if you can't manage both hands. But I want you to back off of the lunge. If you're getting using it with one hand, bend your right elbow towards the sky. I just like two hands. I get more strength to use my arm to shorten my biceps so my quad can stretch out. Lean back a little bit, puff up your chest forward without squeezing your shoulder blades. Whoop, you might fall out. That's normal. So that means wiggle your left foot to the left. So the more balance by moving your left foot out. There you go. Finding, my stance. That's it. Puff up through your chest. Release, let it go. So those are 2 quad stretches. If you want to do both, for sure do both. All right, last one before we relax down. It's a calf stretch. Super easy to do, but you do need a block. Hopefully y'all can see it. Position the block, lowest setting. Kind of sort of like we're doing a ramp. Start with the right and just fold to lean forward. Oh, there we go. Hello, calf. Oh my gosh. You know what would be good here right now? Is the lacrosse ball, which I do have. The little double fascia release, plantar release of your foot, and you also get a calf stretch. Oh my God, that feels so good. And I didn't even run today. It just feels good for the sole of my foot while I'm stretching my calf. You straighten out your leg as much as you can. Good. You can even bring one hand on your thigh. Oh, yeah. So you might get a stretch all the way up to here above your right knee. Soften your breath. Not like it feels so good. That's not making these noises right now. Release. Woo! Left side. Lean forward, straighten out your left leg. You can also do this on the wall. I just did it with the 2 blocks so y'all can see the positioning of my leg. Right there. Oh, it's going all the way above my left knee, so my left hamstring's getting a good stretch. Slowly as you can, release. Let it go. Woo! Good. Now come seated on your mat. Final pose. Cross out your leg one direction or the other. And then pulse your knees down. What's this for, Zed? For your glutes and your low back. Switch out the cross. Pump out, down. So this is for your glutes. And you relax as much as you can. Good. I think that's a good 45-minute class. Thank you for joining me. That's sort of just like a small little excerpt of what I do if you needed more of a hip opening for your hips. But for sure, yin it out, get your bones to open up, and then your muscles next. What connects your bones and your muscles are connective tissues. Could be ligaments, tendons, joints, connective fascia, which goes all around our body. That's when they're together, it's an easier opening or an easier engagement. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me in this 45-minute runner's opener. Namaste.